Well, tonight, a special restaurant report card focused on sushi restaurants. NBC Charlotte discovered that MZ, a Charlotte sushi restaurant in Uptown, was substituting a low-grade fish called escolar for white tuna.
So when you buy sushi, or any kind of fish for that matter, you want what you order, and by law, that's what you are supposed to get. Consumer reporter Bill McGinty randomly selected 8 sushi places and bought items containing various tuna, and a lab tested the fish to make sure they are selling what they're advertising, making sure you get what you pay for.
Yeah, hi, I'd like to place an order.
8 different sushi restaurants.
Yeah, carry out.
Buying the very same sushi items you might be ordering this weekend. In a moment, the results of what we found when we DNA tested the fish. But first, here's why we went looking.
I'd like to place an order to go, please.
We noticed that the MZ Sushi Bar in Uptown was dinged for advertising white tuna in a menu item. But instead of tuna, the inspector says the dish actually contained a fish called escolar. That's a snake mackerel that can give you a bad intestinal distress. A study by Oceana, a group that protects the oceans, noted the FDA advises against the sale of escolar, but the inspection report says MZ was selling it anyway.
Hi, you have a pickup for Bill?
So I went in and bought the very same menu item at MZ, the spicy white tuna in the sexy salmon roll. We also collected similar items from other sushi restaurants. We kept good records. We labeled everything. Then we shipped it all to Florida for specialized DNA testing.
So we did this story because the seafood industry was caught in a net of fraud after a national study by Oceana. Their study in 21 different states, mind you, found that 74% of the time, sushi venues were mislabeling fish. Restaurants were guilty of it 38% of the time, and grocery stores were doing it 18% of the time. Basically, you were paying for one thing, but getting something entirely different.
We shipped the sushi on ice overnight down to that lab in Gainesville, Florida. Technicians spent a week testing the DNA of what we sent them. The first 5 samples, including the one from MZ, came back with the DNA confirming that the fish was what they were advertising. Our other 3 samples couldn't be ID'd because the sauces on them interfered with the testing, and the results came back inconclusive. But that doesn't mean they did anything wrong. Our test results are good news. Experts say it means the seafood industry is policing itself after that earlier study. And for you, it means you're getting exactly what you pay for. And it means people like us are checking.
Food, whether it's sushi or otherwise, has to be honestly presented. That is the law in most places. If they're going to substitute something on the menu, then they either have to tell you about it or they actually have to disclose it in writing. The GM here at MZ told me this week that they have changed their menu. They are now selling escolar and they're disclosing it on the menu. In Uptown, I'm Bill McGinty reporting.